original audio drama from the Questers Theatre.
Radio Refuge by David Erdos. Part 2.
It's like the past has been lost, and this is doing its utmost to find it.
Or we just want it to.
Can't you hear it? There's almost a shape to it, and a sound. You know, I've had this idea for years that animals try to warn us. When a dog barks, it's blaming, or when a cat reprimands with a whine, it sounds like disapproval to me. I mean, birds don't sing, Joe, they gossip. And even the clouds, they're slurs somehow. And maybe static too does the same. Because, I mean, I had the same thought. I felt the same sort of weird when you left it. And then there's Robert Greene. Sorry, Richard. He's like another sort of ghost in all this. Someone who was supposed to be such a part of our lives, who I've literally never heard of. Is it wrong to call that a betrayal? I mean, of Mum and Dad, if not us. That sort of detach is so strange. It's like death squared. But he's living. There's something off, I know that. And you giving me this radio has brought it all into focus.
Something unexplained. That or missing. Do you really not remember him, Richard? Because he was Dad's first friend when he came here. They met when the ship docked in Dover sometime within that first week. Dad asked him directions, I think, in what he later called shattered English, but Richard, or so he said, understood him and showed him the way. They got close.
And how do you know all this and I don't?
Because I was a daddy's girl. You were mummy's. They always say sons and fathers, but it's always mothers, I think, that rule men. Richard got me the job when I first went to Durham. He was running a lab in Newcastle, Dad's scientist friend.
Yeah, it's a blank.
Ugh. He was at our 18th.
I was drunk.
No, you never paid much attention. It was Richard who gave me my first bunch of flowers when I got into Hull.
Were they weeds?
Oh.
He'd covered a lot of ground then, I see. From Hull to Durham. Where was I?
You were acting, as well as being at least halfway up your arse.
Well, if he'd been in yours, then I suppose I'd have felt it.
Shut up. When we were 4, you peed on him. Then he got suddenly busy for years. I used to write to him, though.
You never said.
We're not married. He's a brilliant man. You should read him. He's written at least 20 books.
But why was the radio his to give back? This is the part I'm not clear on. I mean, Dad moves with it. He has it all his life, all our childhood. And then what? He bequeaths it? And it goes to Greece or wherever. And it...
Northwick Park, actually.
What?
Northwick Park. Richard still has a house there. Look, when Dad first got ill, he asked Richard to store it. It's where Richard's nephew lives now. And that's where I sent Jim to pick it up. When I broke the news, Richard knew it. He felt it, he said.
Felt it?
Yes. He talks about frequencies in his books, which makes this thing so important. It was all Dad had when he got here, and it was all that was left when he died. Those homes just reduce. They strip old people down to near nothing. At least this is something, shared as it was, gifted back.
Mum would never have kept it, of course.
Ugh.
Not that she ever wanted anything of Dad's, if we're honest.
Or he of hers.
It's a totem.
Now I have to ask you what you're on about. A totem of what?
Their divorce. Or of their separation. Or death. Or Grandad's death. Or our childhood.
You realise that you're likening it to some sort of mystic stone when you say that?
Yes, like Kubrick's slab.
Oh.
Well, why not, Joe? At least now I'm not drunk and can get a clearer perspective. How old do you think it is? 1930s? Do you think we could sell it?
It's a box of ghosts, John. Who'd buy it?
There, you see, Joe? It hurt.
What do you mean? Don't offend it.
Offend it? Joe, I'm sure they're beyond that.
Are you serious, John?
Hello? Dad!
Oh, sounds stroppy.
It does, in a snit. You'll believe a ghost can suck.
You were stroppy. Arrogant. Distant.
No, I'm not anymore. I'm just old.
Well, that means that I am.
It does. But at least you were closer. To everyone, really. Dad, most of Hull, most of Durham, and perhaps to Richard Green most of all.
And what does that mean?
Joe, is this guilt? This supposedly important piece of our childhood? This timely return? The old magic? I mean, what did he do? Feel you up?
God, no.
I wonder, did Dad...
What?
What? I'm suddenly bursting with questions. I want to explore.
No, there's no... Jesus, there's nothing like that I can say. I can't believe you think that.
I didn't. I don't. I just want the full story. Maybe the radio holds the secrets that we never got to resolve. I know I turned away, just like Dad when he was escaping either the Nazis or Stalin. Well, I was leaving him, Mum, and you, Joe. I mean, I was entitled because twins are still people too. And if you can't be yourself, why not act? Why not try to be other people? After all, you were always Miss Perfect, while I was just misinformed. We have to question, I'd say, because Dad certainly never detailed. I mean, he never went back or talked about the war or his father. He'd wallpapered over the past in the house that we lived in.
John, please, no poems. But perhaps you could ask any of the birds outside who are flapping, or any cats who'll have gathered. Perhaps they could get in.
Funny girl. Tell us, Dad.
John!
Oh my God.
Is that...
That wasn't just me.
No, I heard it.
But Joe, did you...
No, how could I?
Now that is freaking me out.
Listen in.
Should I try and retune it?
God, Jim would never believe this.
Well, neither would Ella.
Well, that's abundantly clear, but do we?
Yes, no. I don't know. Maybe this is wish fulfillment. Rubbing Ella's bloody lamp.
Who's she rubbing?
Richard?
Oh, she'd need long arms, love, I doubt it. But definitely someone else.
Yes, I know. What would they think?
They know. You know they do. We're their broadcast. We're on their station. Perhaps they're listening in, John. Who knows? Dad will, for one. And no doubt Mum as well, distantly judging. What time is it?
11:30. But I think you mean, Joe, which year?
This is what Richard says. In his books, he says that dreams are a window, the multiverse theory. Perhaps hell and heaven and their special charge is electrics like lightning, or perhaps they're the static caught in an old radio.
I should go.
I just came.
Do you know, it's like we've completely left the lives we were part of.
I can't give you a lift back. They might see me.
No, that is not what I meant.
I know.
You are suddenly very jumpy.
I'm not. It's just this is turning out to be one hell of a Christmas. We're more or less on the verge of EastEnders. Perhaps we should be a bit more...
What?
Well, White Christmas. Maybe we should be a bit more Danny Kaye.
Who?
Jesus Christ.
No, actually, besides, wasn't Danny Kaye Jewish? I have seen the film. No, this is different. This is about life.
In my van?
Oh, it's not just a van, Jim. It's more.
It's not even articulated.
Well, then let's make it.
Look, Ella.
Oh, Jim, you're supposed to be a driver. Deliver. I've already got my own bloody sad sack at home.
Ella?
Well, what's wrong with you now? I need an oak, not an acorn. We're parked up. We're secluded. Now, what else do you need?
Ella, that's it. Cramp is the poor man's S&M, and we've already dared the suspension.
Well, dare it again. Then drive me to the end of the road. They won't know.
What do we really want for ourselves? Nobody ever asked that one question. We know what we want to have: food, possessions, maybe even a little peace now and then. But for ourselves, no. Very few stop to consider it's an unsought prize. We want purpose and answers too from that aim. But perhaps very few understand that there is something else working in us, an unfelt need or sensation or vibration perhaps, which sounds out. And it is this source, this sound, that may truly connect us to others. For instance, why do we love our parents? Because they care and protect, or their image? And when they die, it's that flesh, it's that face and body we yearn for. The particular rhyme or echo that comes from them, that particular charge that connects.
I'm home.
I heard.
Yeah, well, stop looking at porn. Mummy's back now.
And yet we must be more than just flesh. We must be more than just the scent or the shine or the warmth that we feel that comes from it. Simply put, the souls that we savour cannot simply be chemical.
What are you watching?
What makes me me and you must be other. There's a resonance between people, a broadcast of sorts, surely, no?
This, Richard Green.
That's what I believe, and what most of this work goes in search of.
What, that's Richard Green? Is he famous?
He's a scientist, sort of. Or he was. Physics.
Oh, well then, F me. Which you can no longer do, I should say, as now it officially isn't your birthday, or a leap year, or Diwali, or even Yom Kippur, come to that.
Does Hanukkah count?
Oh, yeah, nice try. I may even give you a few marks for effort. I'm making tea.
I'd like coffee.
Yeah, well, that shows what you know. This is tea.
The radio worked.
The radio? Oh, when?
We heard something.
When?
Joe was with me.
Oh, twins in stereo. Nice.
Where were you?
Well, as you well know, I went out.
And how was Jim? Did you meet him?
What?
Jim. You did meet him. You see, I know about Jim. How was he? It's why your joke just now stings, as it's not that far from the truth, is it, Ella? It mostly is Christmas, birthdays, and perhaps when you feel a sense of, charity? I'm older, of course, so it's probably why I picked it all up, why I noticed. It was probably why I got drunk. Shallow sorrows. And then, let's be frank, you were pretty bloody rude to my sister. And then, rude with Jim, her husband, but naturally not with me. I actually used to like being rude. And rude with you, I'll be honest. Why is the world full of secrets? Maybe I should ask Richard Green.
John.
There is something unsaid deep within us that, while it may be a product, has a resource and origin that is entirely of its own. In short, a frequency plays beyond our understanding. We are what we imagine, unbound by the limit of what we truly think we should be.
Look, it was a bit of fun.
What was fun? Lining me up on your dartboard, or seeing how far you could push me before I got up or fell? What was fun? You know, I actually hate the word fun. It makes everything else seem so shallow. But then, of course, I'm much older, or maybe you and Jim designed this. Of course, he's older too, but not as much as me, I do realise. 10 years.
13.
Oh, unlucky for some.
And also quite a long time for a woman.
This is why Jim never visits.
He's always at work.
Yes. Are you? On me, I mean. No, not on, at, or behind me. Despite, wherever. Have you been at work all this time? Because if you have, I'm not at all sure I could stand it. It isn't what I want for Christmas, or for my birthday too, come to that. I mean, we've had Dad's death, thank you God. But then the radio has been something. So I really think I prefer this as opposed to...
What?
Well, to you. You should go out again, Ella. You know, if you need to. I mean, I've got things to do, to get on with. I might listen to the radio too, later on. But for now, though...
John.
Jazz. As jazz always forgives and relaxes.
Oh, Christ.
Happy New Year. Or rather, happy old, I should say. Now... Dad?
John, it's Mum.
Mum?
Can you hear me?
Mum?
In part 2 of Radio Refuge, John was played by Julian Smith. Joe was played by Carol Fullilove. Ella was played by Samantha Boffin. Jim was played by Roger Beaumont. Richard Green was played by John Turner. The audio engineer was James Connor. The audio designer was Dennis Dracup. The original music was by Michelle Burton and Dennis Dracup. Radio Refuge was written and directed by David Erdos and was an original audio drama for the Questors Theatre.